اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Today's topic: political Islam, or Islam in the hands of politics, part 2. Yesterday I started a topic that we couldn't finish and do justice to, so I am going to continue this topic and we are going to go forward with it. Interesting topic, that how politicians and sleazebags use tricks and strategies and tactics to misguide people, to create diversions, to take something that is sacred and holy and lofty and just misconstrue it and bring it down and make it horrible and make it disgusting. So this is what we are discussing, how this happens amongst us. And yesterday I spoke to you about, we ended it at this ayat where Allah says, ittakhadhu aymanahum junnatan fasaddu an sabilillah. This is a tactic that many people, munafiqin, use, that they shield their lack of faith by being religious, by acting and pretending to be pious, showing others that they are very good. And when you do such things, it's like, why are you doing that? What's the reason for you to do such things? When you want to be close to Allah, or you want to feel a relationship with Allah, you should do it when you're alone. Sometimes in public it comes out, but that's something that's rare. Not as a habit. It shouldn't be. It should be avoided. Imam Ali, when he used to cry like a baby in front of Allah, thinking about Allah, thinking about the hereafter. He would be rolling on the ground crying, but not in front of people, not in public. He would be doing that alone, somewhere where no one can see him, somewhere where he can be alone with his creator and master, because that's his personal time with Allah. And we know that because some people accidentally saw him there, and we have those hadiths regarding that. But when we look at Imam Ali, it's not like that. When he was in people, he wouldn't be crying. He wouldn't be just shedding tears, or he wouldn't just be showing that to others or praying a lot. Something like that. He wouldn't do that. He would just go around and do what is necessary that has to be done. So when we see someone who always wants to show others that they are religious, this is a problem. The reason is because they are building up a credibility. And that credibility can easily be abused by shaitan and wicked people. Because whenever they see someone who has such sort of a credibility, it can easily be used against truth and against rightfulness. So when we look at it, whenever they cry, you just can't trust people who just cry. Allah gives the example of the brothers of Yusuf when they threw him in the well and made the plot to get rid of him, bloodied his shirt, made up all of this whole game, this whole elaborate scheme they made up. And then when they came back, Allah describes their coming back to their father that night. He says, وَجَاءُوا آبَاءَهُمْ إِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. He says they came back to their father at night crying profusely. Oh yes, they were crying, tears falling out. Oh my goodness. And they are the criminals. They are the criminals. And yet they cry. So what can you trust? When you want to trust someone, what do you trust? How can you trust a person? We see that, for example, their practice, outside practice, is not trustable. You don't know. They're crying, not trustable. You don't know. What's behind it? Their promises, not trustable. What can we do in this situation? You see, the principle is very good. The principle is that whenever in a society there is more dhulm, in oppression, in wrong happening, in injustice happening, in disobedience happening, then you shouldn't trust anyone. You shouldn't trust anyone until they prove themselves to you through experience, through being with them for a long time. You start to have trust in them. Not just that someone just comes along and shows themselves to be religious and right away they become like that. How many people have been fooled? There are communities where such people who come to the masjid show all of a sudden that they are so religious, and they are the scammers who scam people out of money. And it's happened in so many places, in so many communities. Unfortunately, we have even examples of scholars doing such things. But when we look at these things, it is important that we need to be smart enough to know how to look at these people and not just fall for them. Not just look at them and say, oh my goodness, I am going to be like, oh, this guy is so good. No, wait a minute. How long do we know him for? He's been only here for a year or two. Let him be here for a few more years. Let's see how long this lasts. Is it a charade or is it something real? I don't want to say that he's a bad person, but I do want to make sure that before I trust someone, that I am able to truly have evidence and proof to trust him. Because the situation is bad here. We're living in a wrong, bad, or a land of kufr. Yes, if you were living in an Islamic state where the ruler is a just ruler, then you have protection over you. If someone has wronged you or something like that, there is a system of justice. There is a just ruler, a sympathetic ruler who will look at that and they will make sure that you are looked after. If someone wants to misguide me, there's someone there to make sure that I'm not misguided. That they will come in the way and say, no, this is wrong. Here, there's no one like that. Anyone can misguide you. Anyone can take advantage of you, manipulate you, and there's no one there to help you. That's why in a just system, we can trust others and we can go along and live like that. But in an unjust system, we cannot do that. That is the principle that we just need to know. Once we know that principle, from there we can start to find out how to do things. Things that politicians do to create misguidance and wrong ideas amongst people is what we're talking about. An example of such thing is Masjid al-Dirar. Masjid al-Dirar, a masjid that was made in Medina. After the Prophet came there, Rasulullah made a masjid there, and there was another masjid that was made. And there are other masjids also that were made. But this one particular masjid was made by munafiqeen, hypocrites, people who didn't believe in Islam. So they decided that, listen, if we can't beat them, let's join them. Let's, divert and see how we can manipulate the system to make it better for ourselves. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can do these things. So what they did is that they said, let's make a masjid. So they built a masjid. Rasulullah had gone to an expedition in P.B.U.H. And when he came back, the masjid was built in the neighborhood. And they had a very good excuse also to build it. They said, we are in this neighborhood and the people of this neighborhood have a hard time to go to another masjid because it's far away. And So it will be convenient for our people to have a place where we can pray right here. I mean, that's a good excuse. You can't say it's bad. Very good. Excellent. You made this excuse up. So, I mean, it's not like, for example, nowadays, how we are dividing masjids, I mean, we don't even have a good excuse. We just say it because, hey, you know what? I speak Urdu. That's why I have my own masjid. I speak Arabic, and we speak Farsi, and we speak this, and we speak that. We divide ourselves on language and ethnicity. They at least had an excuse. They knew that wouldn't fly with Rasulullah. They couldn't say that, hey, listen, we need our own masjid here because I can't get along with those people. I can't eat their food. It's too spicy. Now, that wouldn't fly with Rasulullah. I mean, he wouldn't agree with such a thing. So they made an actual good excuse. They said that it's far away and we need the people here. We have elderly people. It's better that they can pray every day and we can pray together. So they came to Rasulullah, inviting him to come as an official guest and pray there so that it can have sacredity and it can become holy. And an official place to pray, and people can see that you are doing that. So they wanted his stamp on that masjid. And obviously Allah is not going to fall for that, and Allah told the Prophet that this ayat that is in Surah Tawbah, ayat number 107, it says, وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مَسْجِدًا دِرَارًا, and those people who built a masjid to cause harm. A harmful masjid. Yes, a harmful masjid. Kufran wa tafriqan bayna al-mu'minin. A harm, disbelief, and a cause of disunity amongst the believers. And then wa irsadan liman harab Allah wa rasulahu min qabl. And it is an ambush for people who have made a place of gathering, that they can have a hideout, a gathering place for people who are at war with Allah and the Messenger. Allah tells the Prophet that these people are not sincere. They're just making it up. How would you know that? People built a masjid. It's such a great thing. Sawab-e-jariyah. Constant, perpetual reward. MashaAllah, what a good brother. He made a masjid for the people. How we can go and pray. And Allah says, no. This masjid, don't step in it. Don't go there. And Rasulullah was told. Allah is saying, Wallahu yashhadu innahum lakadibun. They will swear to you that their intentions are good and they are doing it for good and they are doing it with thawab-e-jariyah. But Allah is testifying that they are liars. That they are lying. Wow. Allah is saying, I testify that they lie. Who is a better witness than Allah? And that's strong. Allah just tells us that's not going to happen. He testifies that. He says, don't step in that masjid. Go there and destroy it. And Rasulullah went there, destroyed the masjid. Really, in the neighborhood, destroyed the whole masjid. Put everything down. Really raised it to the ground. And you can just look at that. Wow, what is this? Dirty politics, my friends. Dirty politics, and these politicians who use faith and religion to misguide people. We have to be aware of that. Be careful of that, because that is how people are being misguided. We become weak when we give such people credibility, when we give such people authority to do things and to represent us. We become weak. Any organization, anyone who wants to become a leader needs to be questioned. Why? What is the intention behind it? For what reason? Why? Because when you don't have the ability to do that and you want to do that, you're going to hurt everyone. You're going to put everyone at risk and jeopardize everyone. That's why it's important that we know and trust people with our experience. By going through experience and then seeing that yes, this person is trustable because we have seen him, we know him, and we know how to do that. And still be careful and vigilant, because we are living in a land of kufr. And it's very important we do that. We have many people that they are going to put in place, and whenever they do things that are like holy or something like that, ask them, why are you doing that? For example, look at it. Saudis are an ideal example of this. They print the Quran. What better thing to do? They print Quran and they give it out to everyone for free. They're spreading Allah's words. Yes, on paper, fine paper at that. And they're spreading it everywhere. They build masjids. They come to your community and they will build a masjid here. They'll give the money, they'll build a masjid. What more can you ask for? Wow, they build a masjid for us. And then, you know what? Half the expenses, more than half the expenses of any center and any masjid is having a scholar and an alim and an imam there to lead the prayers and give lectures. So Saudis, they come to you and say, hey, you know what? We will give you a free alim. Yes, resident alim for free. What better offer can you ask for? That is so ideal. And then when they have everything in place, all they need to do is just spew their garbage into the minds of people. And that's how they misguide people, because people let them come inside their faith. These people, they let them come inside their faith. They build up all this credibility for what? You are doing all these things for what? You are known as the servants of the two harams. The holy places, Makkah and Medina. Why are you building this credibility? When you build up this credibility and this authority and this sway over others, for what? At the end, what do you do with that? You go and you sell Muslims at the hands of oppressors. That's what you do. That's what they have done. They will take Muslims and they will sell them. Yes, for peanuts, they will sell them to oppressors, non-Muslims, enemies. Humiliate Muslims. They will humiliate them. And that's what they have done. And Muslims are like, what just happened? Right now, Islam is on the run. These Muslims are on the run. With all of these things going on, who is doing these things? Who is supporting these things? All the things that are ugly right now in Islam have been made and manufactured by Saudis. Everything that has to do with the humiliation of Islam right now. Everything. And that's how you see how bad it is. We let it happen. And we let things happen like that. No, just because you did that, you don't have that sway. You don't have that authority to do that. My friends, there is the Prophet's Islam and then there is Barney Islam. Barney is that dinosaur, T-Rex dinosaur. The reference is because, T-Rex is supposed to be ferocious and powerful and strong. And then if you make it into a toy, a plaything, that's what Barney Islam is. Islam is supposed to be a potent force. It's supposed to be a strong force, and then you make it into a plaything that sleazebag politicians can use as a toy. And that's what we do with it. And this is what we need to be aware of. One of the other ways that we see Allah speaks about in the Quran regarding people who misguide are puppet scholars. Puppet scholars means scholars that work for the government, are agents of the government. They appease the oppressors and the tyrants. They make the tyrants look good, and they make the people or pacify the people and the anger of the people to say that everything is all right, don't worry, everything is all right, we are in good hands. And we will all be good. And tomorrow is a great day. Isn't it a great day? The Uncle Toms. So you have Uncle Tom ulama who are puppet ulama, right? They are, all they want is some importance that is given to them. So let's see how Allah speaks about this in the Quran. Allah says it. That's why we are mentioning it. Because Allah speaks about puppet scholars, and about them He says, gives the example of this person by the name of Balame Ba'ura. Balame-Baura. I'm trying to get it right. And this guy is mentioned in the Quran, not by name, but by the story. And I'll mention the story right now. He was, at the time of Hazrat Musa, he was a scholar. Yes, a highly ranked scholar. In fact, he would be one of the close people of Hazrat Musa. Hazrat Musa will rely on him and send him to do tabligh work and to preach and to defend Islam. He went there and he used to defend Allah and he used to talk about Allah to people, teach people. He was respected amongst people. He was also respected by Hazrat Musa. And so this person goes to Fir'aun and Fir'aun gives him importance. Fir'aun is like, oh, you are a real scholar. Fir'aun is like, you are a real scholar. I respect scholars like you. You are truly divine, amazing. Unlike Musa there. Musa is very, truly, he needs work. Trust me, he needs work. But you are amazing. You are a great scholar. And I respect that. And I want to do whatever I can to establish you and to help you so that you can do your divine duty to the people. And you know what? That was it. That's all Balame-Baura needed. Just that little bit of importance he was given and a place, a rank, a position, and he was like, that's it. It's over. Oh my God. That was such a great thing. And he left Musa and he went to Fir'aun. He left Musa and he went to Fir'aun and he was with Fir'aun. So Allah speaks about him in the Quran. He says, وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ. Tell them the story about الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا, about someone that we had given our ayat to, our signs to, our knowledge to. He was a person that Allah is saying that we gave him our ayat, our signs. This was a person that he was capable and we gave him our signs and he learned. He was a scholar. Allah is calling him Ayatullah. He used the word ayat. And he says, we gave it to him. فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا الشَّيْطَانِ. And he withdrew himself from it. He went away. We gave him the knowledge and he went away from that knowledge. Went to Fir'aun. Shaitan has overtaken him. فَأَتْبَعَهُ Shaitan. Shaitan has overtaken him. Shaitan, and now he's following Shaitan. He is obedient to Shaitan now. We gave him the knowledge and he became the follower of Shaitan. Allah called him a scholar. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Allah called him a scholar and he was a highly ranked scholar, and now he says فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ, that this person has gone astray. He has gone astray. And then Allah speaks about him and says that we would have given him a great position. Really, he was capable. Allah really speaks about him in a really sad way. That he says that, and if he had pleased, we would have certainly exalted him, given him izzat and respect. He would have been very highly respected amongst all of mankind. I would have given his example to all the people to come, that this person is exemplary. I would have given him that. He would have lived in the ages as a hero and a champion of truth. But now he went there. So now he says, فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ الْكَلْبِ. The example of him is the example of a dog. This is Allah in the Quran saying this. He's saying that this guy's example, a scholar who sells himself and becomes a puppeteer to tyrants, is what? Is a dog. He says, you know what a dog is? He says, Allah, He describes it, that a dog is someone that when you beat him up, he crouches down and lolls his tongue out, sticks his tongue out, and then if you let him be, he still looks at you and sticks his tongue out. That's Allah's example. I mean, talk about putting someone down. Allah says, this guy's a dog. A dog. That's all he is now. Really, my friends, now Allah says that I could have made him this, but you know what? Allah cannot force anyone. He respects our free will and choice. He said, the choice is yours. I give you the way, I give you everything. Don't do that. Make sure you know that you're able to do my work. I will give you respect. I will make the people respect you. But if you work for the enemies, no one is going to respect you. And that's what happened to this person, Bal'am Ba'ura. We had this in history a lot, my friends. People who work for tyrants and misguided people, and what they do is that they actually alter Islam and they make up Islam and they manufacture new Islam. In the time after the Prophet, you had a new fad of businesses, entrepreneurs, and businessmen, and opportunists, carpetbaggers who were in the business of manufacturing hadith. Yes, many people were in that business. You hear about, the top corporations like Abu Huraira, but there are many others also who were just making hadith left and right, just shouting it out there. And it was like for everyone, whatever is needed, they just wanted a buyer. And who would buy it? The rulers. Because you had these rulers who are devious, who are just disgusting, people who had no character, no Islam, no faith. They were just horrible people. How can anyone justify them being a leader of a Muslim society? How could they be justifying them? So they needed the help of scholars. And they needed the help of these people. How would they do that? By making up hadith. Yes, that's why we have false hadith for. Where do you think we got false hadith? They didn't fall from the sky. They were made up by people. They made them up. That's how we have them in our books. For example, hadith that says, follow your leader even if he's a sinner. Really? That's what we should do? If someone sins, we follow him? Or, for example, follow the leader even if he's wrong. Wow. That is what Islam says? Follow someone even if he's wrong? That is important, yes, because it's necessary to follow the leader. You have to do that. Shimr, after he killed Imam Hussein and after Karbala, one of the things that he was known for is that every morning from Fajr till sunrise, he would pray and make dua to Allah. He would pray and make dua to Allah. And he would make dua to Allah saying that Allah, I did not want to kill Hussein. Really, there was nothing personal. Nothing personal. I didn't want to kill Hussein. I have nothing personal against Hussein. Really, it wasn't personal. I was just obeying the leader. Yes. Obedience to the leader, obedience to the Imam supersedes everything. That was the ideology. Shimr just knew that the leader said so. I have to do this. We have to kill him. The Imam said, I don't look here and there, I just do it. And how do you make people follow the leader like that? Well, first of all, you have to bring them down to that level. What do you say? At first you say, well, here's the thing. The Imam doesn't have to be masoom, infallible. No, he can sin also. It doesn't have to be infallible. Who said that? We all are sinners, and so if one of us is the leader, it's fine. We just have to follow the leader. That's the important thing. Keep the hierarchy. Keep everyone in tow, in check. That's the main thing. That's what Allah wants. And how do you do that? Well, at first you make the prayer leader not adil. Prayer leader doesn't have to be adil. Anyone can lead it. So now you're bringing down the standards. You bring down the standards, you bring down the values, so that now anyone, no matter who he is, can lead the prayer. Yes, anyone can lead the prayer. How do you do that? And what other ways? For example, we have these, and these are ways that they have done. Predestination. Everything is determined by Allah. Yes, if he's the leader, it's because Allah wants it to be. And whatever Allah wants it, then you have to do it. You have to obey him. SubhanAllah. You see, that's how you bring them down. You destroy concepts. For example, Sahaba, companions. Who are companions? Anyone who has seen the Prophet. Even a glimpse, or passing by, you just looked at him somehow from far away. Oh, he is a companion. Really? That's what a companion is? Anyone who saw the Prophet, anyone who sees him, just lays his eyes on him, that's it? That's all you have to do to be a companion? Because you know why? Once you are a companion, now you can do and say whatever you want, and it will be Islam now. Because that's the next move. So now you have lowered the standards, you have destroyed the standards, brought down the values, and when you do that, now you have these people out there who are now saying things and issuing fatwas and doing ijtihad, and everyone accepts it. Why? Because they're companions. You think that, for example, they would just go out and kill Imam Hussein? No. There's a companion who gave a fatwa. Companions who give fatwas first. Ijtihad has been done. So now they can say it's ijtihad. People had done ijtihad there and they deemed it correct to kill Imam Hussein. That's how things work, my friends. And when we let that happen, and when we let those moral values come down, we end up just like that. And we need to be protecting ourselves from these plots that Allah warned us about and spoke to us about, so that we look at these plots and these things that are happening and try to be vigilant and stop ourselves and become better. The Imam is expecting that from us. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you all.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin